Looking where he's at, though. Monday Sports Podcasts. The Sports Reports. Good morning.
Now, Midgie, we spoke about it briefly on the show this morning, but if you're a Dolphins or a Broncos supporter, you can still make the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Triggered by your Zappos, by the way.
Who's more likely?
Used to have them every day at school.
There we
Mitch,
go.
do you know?
Who's more likely?
Well, the Dragons are 2 points ahead of the Broncos, so the Dragons would probably be more likely. But most importantly,
The Dolphs?
You need the Dragons to... The Dolphins are ahead of the Broncos, but you need the Dragons to drop out of the 8. So the Dragons need to lose their next 2 games.
I can't believe we're still talking about it.
And we need to beat, so the Dolphins and Broncos play each other next week.
Yeah, so let's look ahead and let's say, okay, the
Who are
Broncos...
the Dragons got 2, mate?
Okay.
Go through it all, please.
Okay, well, this coming week, round 25, the Dragons have the Sharks. So the local derby down there, Sharks are on fire. Had a good win last night. Sharks should win that one. Now, Broncos have the Eels, who are in second last and are just waiting for the end of the year. God willing, the Broncos have a win on Friday night at Suncorp Stadium against the Parramatta Eels. We hope that.
Now, what's the go with Reece Walsh?
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks this time last week. Once they sort of
he's not
come
playing
through,
this week.
Wouldn't look to be the case. Yeah.
Surely we can beat Parramatta.
They've been playing, I know they lost against the Roosters. They've been playing good footy, though. They took it to Melbourne and Penrith in the last few weeks, didn't they?
I couldn't believe they did what they did against Penrith without Mitchell Moses. I thought I wrote them off. So, it was fun to turn it on and see them happy, but they always throw that fight up. So
no Payne, no Ezra, no Reece.
So it's tough askings for it. Let's just have a look, to look ahead to next week. We've got to get through this week, but just because it's spicy next week. So the Broncos beat the Eels because they're further ahead, more to play for, blah, blah, blah. At home as well.
Surely we can win that.
Saturday afternoon, the Storm host the Dolphins. The Storm, red hot. They've all but guaranteed the minor premiership.
Should win.
The Storm should win. So by the end of this weekend, you look at those two results, the Broncos and the Dolphins would be on equal points at 26.
Who's got the better for and against?
Currently, the Dolphins, they're at plus 15. The Broncos are at minus 4. So
it's close.
It could be very even.
Tight. You put a score in Para this week and we're ahead.
Yeah, and you'd think the Storm are going to do a little bit. If they're going to win at home against the Dolphins, they'd win comfortably enough. That could be a very close for and against, and they would be equal on points, bringing it to like this. You think about their first clash, round 4 last year. They were the only 2 undefeated teams left in the competition for their first matchup. The Battle of Brisbane won. This will be Battle of Brisbane number 4, and it could determine which of them still has a chance, even a faint chance. One will definitely be out, and one will still have a sniff at finals contention at Suncorp next week. Nick, you're going to be in for it as GA there next week, mate.
Kapow.
Wow.
Big Kapow.
Question without notice. We got some more?
No, go. Yeah.
Well, I just want to completely switch. That's all. On a scale of do what you fool or you're an absolute idiot, what are you talking about? Do I book my tickets to an AFL Grand Final to watch the Brisbane Lions this year?
My fingers moved a little bit further away from the...
Oh, I love when your fingers move.
They might be tapering.
Look, it's... As we've said all season, as soon as you think you've got a team worked out, something changes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a common theme for the Lions over the last few years has been the inability to
close.
To put games like this away.
Yeah.
Now, they'll say it's the MCG. It's not that. But now, where it currently stands, they have a slight hope of still making the double chance. They will not have 2 home finals. Top four. Right. Meaning if Geelong lose this week, they can still finish 4th if Brisbane beat Essendon. If Geelong win, the highest the Lions can finish is 5th, which would mean a home elimination final at the Gabba, likely against a Carlton in a replay of the prelim final.
So you say that Geelong are in 4th and they are hosting the 16th place West Coast for this final game.
And West Coast got...
So if Geelong win, the best we can do is 5th.
Best we can do is 5th, correct.
Jeez, it's such a tight...
It's incredibly tight, and as we said, we don't know...
Thank God your fingers are moving further away. That's how tight it is.
I'm just gonna think about that for a second and just let it go.
The sports podcast sponsored by Zappo. Sours.
Where did they come from?
Well, Tough Man Refresh jumped off, have they?
No.
Oh, is that tipping?
Podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought it was a bundle deal.
Can I have one?
Absolutely, yeah.
Are they yours, Mitch? Or
I think they're left over from the other great sporting contest over the weekend, the Handball Blitz
that is
semi-finals.
nostalgic, isn't it, a Zappo?
God, these are so good.
They just hit different.
Yeah, they really do.
I like the grape.
Yes,
Yeah, me too.
I'm a grape guy myself, but I'm willing to give this guy
Likewise.
this is strawberry here.
But yeah, 2 weird results. What was it? Both on Saturday for the AFL with the Lions, doing very, very well. At once, they They were 30 points ahead,
No,
20 points ahead late.
That's what the game is like now. Just swings and momentum can move so quickly.
Yep.
And Collingwood,
It had
knowing
that feeling about it, didn't it?
It was a sense of inevitability when Cam Rayner missed from directly in front. You went, that could have been
How
the
is
chance.
that possible that they can miss from in front?
I just want to hit the post.
So
Yeah, just spray just across the face. Ash, it's like golf.
Sprayed across
You just get two.
You had me at sprayed across the face.
You just I don't know how you're golfing, but look, you just sometimes get two in your head.
Golf.
You can just get two in your head.
Mate, I was missing putts yesterday from come on.
You've done
2 foot.
You've done the skill for since
Not
you were
even.
5, and somehow
Yeah.
something just gets in your mind. So
Yeah.
anyway, look, it's a bit of a shame, but it was such a tight season, and given where the Lions started this year, it's still a great result. But they'll get the job done over Essendon. They should. Essendon has nothing left to play for. I have no hope left in my heart as a long-suffering Essendon fan, but yeah, it's going to be an incredible final series. Like for all footy fans, this will be sensational. But yeah, what I would love to see is at the end of the game, Lachie Neale grabbed the entire playing group, brought them together, and hopefully we can get him on the show later this week because I would love to know what he said to that group.
Did he lay down the law? Or was
It looked like it. It looked like a no, not a. It was more like a hey guys, this isn't over. Okay, you've just.
So positive.
Yeah, because remember, this is another tight loss at the MCG, just like the grand final less than a year ago. So they'd been there before. I'd love to know what he said to the players.
Well, all we
And I
do
know
is
you can
ask
say
him.
that it's not a hoodoo to play at the MCG, but at some point it becomes one because it becomes such a big. Until you win there,
Yeah.
it's a hoodoo, and
you
you may as well
overthink it
own
as
it
well.
because
Overthink it, yeah.
it's because it's what everybody else is talking about. The only way you can stop that chatter is to actually win.
It just becomes larger than life. It's incredible. Just
Yeah, it
incredible
takes
stuff.
on its own sort of life.
The more oxygen
Energy.
you give it, the more it lives.
Yeah.
That's it.
Did anyone watch the fight, UFC? Anyone interested in that? Duplessis,
Yeah, you got
Alessandro?
It done, got it done in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see
it's a shame for Adesanya, as I said. I never try and let a champion fall out of favour, but Duplessis it just looks like he's on another level.
It looked like after the fight that they sort of, like Duplessis bought him something or gave him
It was a jacket,
It was
yeah.
a jacket, and that they all seem to be really matey. And I actually like that because they've been there's been moments in the lead up where it's been quite vitriolic, although they seem to have come together.
You wonder how much is the
towards
show,
end.
but
Yeah, but that seemed genuine.
it did.
It seemed genuine, and it was like Duplessis, and this guy has been like a great champion, which he has been. He's like one of the legends of the sport of that division in
oh,
particular.
absolutely, yeah.
So, and they are the same country.
Well, you've got that was the whole the African theme
Yeah.
throughout the week. So Duplessis, South
Continent,
African,
at
and then
least.
and then
Yes.
you've got Adesanya being of Nigerian, but he fights out of
Yeah.
New Zealand. So look,
Is
I
he
mean,
based in New Zealand? Is he?
he fights out of Auckland, yeah.
Oh.
So the Kiwis have him. So it was New Zealand versus South Africa over in Perth, and
Do you think that Volkanovski is like one of our country's most underrated sports people? Like, I know he's not underrated in the UFC world, but that what he has done.
What has he done? So I'm not a fully across.
Okay.
I don't
Is
know
he?
either.
All
Yeah.
right, so Volkanovski, there's a great documentary you can watch on him on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Volkanovski was playing rugby league actually. Where's Guyamere? Is that outside of Sydney? So for the Guyamere Gorillas?
I've got no idea.
Mia.
Is it?
I've never heard of it.
Just Google Volkanovski Gorillas Rugby League. Like I think it was Guyamere Gorillas, but he was playing A-grade rugby league in some not shitty competition, but it's not a.
Sounds like it'll be Canberra.
Yeah, he's got
It's not the
he
NRL.
played semi-pro rugby league for the Warilla Gorillas.
Warilla
Yeah.
Gorilla. The Warilla. Where's Warilla?
You can't make this up. I'll find that in a second.
You were calling the gonorrhea.
It was gonorrhea Gorillas.
It was Group 7. He was awarded the league's best player in 2010. So he was handy.
They won a grand final, and Volkanovski, he was as small as what he is, and he's not very tall, but he was a prop forward in rugby league. And his heart was so big that he won the man of the match in the grand final. And then somewhere along the way, he's like 22, 23, went, bugger this, I'm gonna have a crack at this UFC stuff. He started fighting just local around Sydney. Well, became a world champion, multiple divisions in the UFC. He's the real deal. He's become like there's so many people that would know when they think of Australia in that UFC world, the first person they would think of as an Australian would be Volkanovski.
We really took that torch from Robert Whittaker a few years
Yeah.
back. But you're right. He's completely
He's a superstar.
It's so understated.
He is a superstar.
Didn't he lose his last fight?
Yeah, he did.
As soon as I jumped on, he lost.
That's what I thought. I was like,
That's all
oh.
I know of him.
Yeah, me too.
But
Yeah,
Lutzy,
that's the hype about
The
it.
Drake, it's like the Drake curse, the Lutzy curse.
Maybe it is.
But that fight that he took against that guy, that what's that guy that with the bad ears, Khabib.
Oh, Khabib, yeah.
Yeah. He took that at like 10 days' notice, 10 or 11 days' notice, and he lost
that's right.
He lost something like
That's right.
He dropped weight,
like,
didn't he?
like 10 or 15 kilos in 10 days. Flew to Abu Dhabi to take on this guy who's just a killing machine. He lost, but he really was. He's been a great servant for Dana White.
Is it the Shire?
Yeah, just sort of between Shell Harbour and Wollongong.
Yeah,
Ah, right.
So
out
just
there.
off Lake Illawarra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that he gets the kudos in Australia, like in that small world of UFC, but mainstream. Look, we had Harry Garside on the show, this morning. Volkanovski against Garside.
But perception is reality, right?
Volkanovski would tie him up in a little, you know what I mean? Like Volkanovski he's a killer.
But like Lutzy and I, so
He's a badass.
our only thoughts of Volkanovski is the loss, right?
that's all
Without
I know.
context, there's the cut that he had to do, the 11-day preparation.
Oh.
So perception is reality,
Yeah.
right? And maybe that's why he's not appreciated.
Well, I think it's until our perception changes about UFC and how, we're all rugby league, AFL, traditional sporting code fans, but within that UFC world, to your point, Ash, he's a mega star.
Yeah, he
and
is.
once UFC
He's
reaches
a
that sort of
genuine,
level, which
bona
it will.
Yeah.
Star, worldwide star. Yeah. Anyway, it's great to see him getting that recognition. I saw him floating around Perth. He's going there, and everyone loves him. Like,
Well, we saw
which is
him.
great.
Do you remember we saw him in the Qantas Club?
No?
Oh, were you not there? I swear you guys were there. Where were we going? We were going maybe to Sydney. It was a show thing.
I think I didn't even know who he was when you said that.
Do you remember? Because
I
there
do
was a film
remember
crew
that.
with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's Volk.
That's Volkanovski.
Yeah. There was actually a film crew filming. So maybe part of this documentary that you talk about, Ash, was filmed in the Qantas Club where we...
Yeah.
Did you see any of that? Like, do you
You
remember?
were there
like,
that day.
Oh,
Really? I think you were. Like, we're going to Sydney for something.
We weren't going overseas. We were going overseas.
I'm pretty... No, it was in the
it Japan?
domestic. No, it was domestic.
If we were going overseas, it probably would have been velled up.
He would have been Valentine Holmes to the
You know what? It made it. It
Yeah.
might have been our connecting flight from Sydney to Brisbane after
mate, he
after Japan. I think that actually might have been it.
Brandon may have been a little... Yeah.
Yeah, you would remember that.